Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are SocialBlade.
You know, I just noticed, Aaron, for the first time ever, that last shot has all of the hosts except for me.
Except for you?
Yeah.
I know, I've noticed that. I didn't make that.
That's the first time I've actually...
blame Jason for that one.
That's the first time I've actually ever watched that video.
This is episode 23?
Is it really? No, this is episode 1.
We didn't have it at the very beginning.
This is episode 1 of 2010. This is the year of the SocialBlade show. Welcome, everybody. This is the SocialBlade show. First episode of 2010, 23rd episode of our entire lives. And we are here today to celebrate what is sure to go down as the year of the SocialBlade cat. We're gonna have a cat as that's gonna be our new. No, okay, I'm making decisions for everybody. My ego's writing checks that my body can't cash. Patrick, how was your week? How was your last 3 weeks? We haven't seen you in like 3 weeks. I heard that you were out doing stuff.
Say that again. I'm sorry. Technical difficulty.
That's okay. Just respond to anything. Make up the question in your mind, and then come up with a valid response. And I'm sure it'll match whatever I said.
Well, what happened was I had eggs, and I ordered them that I wanted them runny, and they came out dry. And I told them, and I specifically told them, that they still, after several requests, came out dry. Am I close to what you asked?
My question was 3 weeks ago when you were going to order eggs, what happened? Were they dry or wet? And, it's amazing how this stuff works.
We work as one. I mean, this team is unbelievable. We're set.
It is. How are other wonderful hosts? Victor Barrera over on, if I were in the middle, I would be able to point right here and he'd be there. So I'm going to like extend myself over.
Oh, wrong way.
Oh, he got it right. Second time.
Got it right.
I can't reach him. I can't.
That's not helping the sound.
I tried. I'm just not that flexible.
Is he reaching for his wallet?
Man, where's our webcam choreographer, man? He's MIA. We need to get on top of this.
I know.
But yeah, JD, the winter break was nice. It was a nice, vacation time. Did some traveling, visited some family, visited some friends, and just kind of had a good old time. I mean, it doesn't really get better than hanging out with the homies in a cabin and and there's snow all around. I mean, that's an ideal Christmas for me.
Snow. Define snow. I'm here in Southern California.
Well,
and he got drunk and they cut his hair. Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, no, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's a whole
no,
story
actually,
later.
My hair is much shorter this time because I donated it to a nonprofit called Locks of Love. They're located in Miami, California. So if you have like super long hair and want to donate it, they create wigs for free and they give them to patients going through chemo and stuff. So it's for a good cause. So if anyone's interested, hit me up. I got the contact info and all that stuff. So
that's awesome.
Should be fun.
That's
very
amazing.
Nice.
Aaron, how was yours? Your 2009 ending. I'm looking at you on the screen, by the way.
Right. Oh, thanks for looking up. Yeah, no, it was great. Since I'm neighbors with Santa, he treated me very well this past year, and had a rough start, not feeling well coming into 2010, but I seem to be turning around. So, other than that, it was great. Missed you guys. Miss all of you that come and watch our show every week, and I'm glad to be back.
Excellent, excellent. And then here is Urgo. See that? I did the mirror proper right. I went like that.
Oh, there I am.
And I pointed at him, and it was like
nice.
A flash. You can't even keep up with me. I'm so fast. I should be playing in the national championship game right now.
There.
Instead, I'm missing it for the show.
Well, thanks for the points there, JD. I had a good break also. I got to go home to Massachusetts where I also saw some snow and got to visit my family up there. So it was good to see the family and good to have a little time off. It was my first vacation in a while, so definitely enjoyed that.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. Also, I Outcast just reminded me in the chat here. I actually met up with him also.
So you had a social media meetup, and you weren't going to mention it. You must have really made an impact. on your life. Outcast, no, we don't mind him.
Well, he had to leave early. I met up with a couple of friends from up there. He was one in the group, but he had to leave early. So yeah, that's why it wasn't a lasting impression. It's his fault.
Nice.
Nice.
Way to make people feel good. And none of the things that we've just said have anything to do with social media, but luckily going forward.
Oh, wait a minute. Last year I noticed that one of the things that we didn't do was ask JD what he did during the week, and it's generally because we don't really care. But we're going to start a new resolution, and we're going to start asking JD, how was your vacation?
I didn't get to see my family at all. We're in the process of renovating the house, and so I had Del Taco for Christmas, and New Year's we went down and we were going to go down and visit my aunt and uncle, but then they were mad because we didn't come down for Christmas, so we had to turn back around. And then I was renovating the house even more, and hopefully this means that you'll never ask me again, because I'm going to make it as boring as possible.
I see why we don't ask him.
No, we did nothing. I just sat around and stared at the screen and wished that I was doing the SocialBlade show, because that's all I do. Now, you guys will hear an echo, and it's why I'm going to try to move my computer without unplugging a lot of stuff, just so that you could see actually down. Oh, good thing I'm wearing pants today. You can actually see.
Very good thing.
You can see my floor right now. There's, I've got. I'm unplugging. Unplugging slowly. You're gonna. I actually unplugged. How embarrassing. See, Patrick, never ask again, because you just took everybody off the screen.
Oh.
Except for me. It just totally ruined it. I'm going to have to reset up the entire show, but we're going to do it on the fly.
Well, while you're doing that,
let's
the
juggle.
thing at the bottom of the screen is actually the first thing we wanted to talk about.
Look at this segue, man. Take it away, Urgo.
Well, basically on NPR, Andy Calvin specifically from that asked people on Twitter and Facebook to sum up 2009 in one word, and sort of put together. Victor, what are these things called again? You knew yesterday.
A Wordle.
Victor, a Wordle. Wordle. That's it. That didn't sound like Victor though. But put together a Wordle, and
a Wordle.
These basically were the most popular words, or what 2009 meant to people. As you see, there's a lot of change, bittersweet, hope, Obama, disappointing, awesome, tough, foobar, sort of mixed emotions there.
Well, do you know where I can find a higher resolution version of this? I mean,
I
see this
do.
in articles, but this is the limited version is the only one I've seen thus far. But I would really like to see what some of the smaller ones are.
I just dropped the link in our chat room here, and we're gonna also include the link on the show notes, so you'll be able to get it there as well.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I noticed that there was a lot of negative words.
Yeah.
Like
They were the
craptastic.
bigger ones.
There were some original ones. I like craptastic myself.
Craptastic was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid word.
Yeah.
I have no clue what foobar is.
I'm surprised fail wasn't bigger. Because there was a whole lot of fail served in 09, and you would have figured that it had been a much bigger term, but apparently it wasn't.
It was about the same size as UGG and disastrous.
If you look in the N of change, it says, was it the N?
Meh.
Yeah, of change. It says meh, which reminds me of Pat.
Really?
I don't know why.
Where does it say that? I see it right there.
Yeah, on our screen it says EH. We can't see the whole thing.
It was moved up a bit, but yeah, it's meh in the middle of change. Whatever. It'd be interesting if they made it's NRP that created this.
NPR. Well, not NPR didn't create. Did they create them? Were they the ones that like put all the data in it? I mean, it's not that hard, but
all he did was ask the question.
They did the survey. They pulled the survey.
Yeah, pulled the survey and just threw it into the Wordle making machine, and out came a Wordle.
Yeah, they got 5,000 replies about.
But it'll be interesting, like at the end of this year, to compare if they do it again.
Well,
what last year was.
I can tell you right now, just my prediction, that one of the biggest tags for 2010 will be stuff that Pat says.
SocialBlade.
That's gonna really signify and just make the year what it is. Ooh, I need to probably move this. I thought that I had it centered, but I did not. So I'm gonna move it over a little bit and see if we can center it a little bit better. But yeah, change and changes were two of the biggest ones, and obviously those are, it was a rough year for a lot of people, for most people I would say, and so this was, if anything, this was the first time that we can actually say, look at this kind of data and aggregate it in a way that is, to me, it's visually stunning, because it's something that I would like to. I was being sad. Why'd you laugh at me?
No, I feel you, JD. It's interesting because, I mean, you look at the Wordle and, 3 terms that come out in my mind that look pretty significant are tumultuous, exhausting, and challenging, So it's a pretty tough year for a lot of folks, that's for sure.
Pat, why did you laugh at me?
Because you're using the one word that I can't. I was asking for help for the show, and there you are just rolling it around. I can say it easily. Then again, I'm not a dumb redneck like Patrick. No, it's all good. It's all good. I have carpet on my bedroom floor, so I am one up on you.
One of the words is. Yes, that's true. That's true. You actually have a bed. I slept the other day in my chair. No kidding. I slept in my chair because they had to move my bed, and I didn't want to try to put it back together. So I'm not going to go into that. One of the words though is meh. So as Aaron pointed out, so we can focus on that. Another word that's not on here though is Digg. But I heard that they're possibly going to be link sharing data from other social networks. What do we know about that, Patrick?
Well, one of the words, actually two of the bigger words on this chart that you just showed us was change and changes. And Digg is possibly going to make some big changes coming up. They're looking to take the link sharing data from other social networks and join them all together. And they want to step up the game by possibly adding link sharing data from other sites such as Facebook and Twitter. And this is according to Kevin Rose, the founder of Digg. TechCrunch has speculated about what real-time Digg might look like since May, but resembling something like TechMe or TweetMe, those pink site. I don't.
May.
Me. That's a word that Victor taught me a couple of weeks vacation, so I missed it. It pinged both sites. They added that the renovation was being helped by Digg's new acquisition. Kevin Rose's other startup, WeFollow, a directory of Twitter users. Now, when I was thinking about this is, this is all well and good, but is it really going to happen? I mean, basically, they're saying a lot of might. But don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Digg, but I'm also a big skeptic as well on some of the things that they do. And I think they need that. In reality, what do you guys think?
I don't know. If Kevin Rose is putting it out there in articles, I think they're probably doing, taking 2009. This. Might be the way to
tie some of their big stories. I don't want to bring it up, but how about Michael Jackson's death, or Tiger Woods got another girlfriend out there, or whatever? And they see that as a trending topic on Twitter. then they'll add that on and send it out, like some of the bigger stories, and tie them all together. The way I see it.
Oh, I agree. I think that Kevin has always had a I don't want to call it an obsession, but he's been wanting to get into this field or this portion of social media for a long time now. He started Pounce. Admittedly, he was one of the very first true power users on Twitter itself, and then of course with WeFollow, it's very clear that he sees the potential, he sees the future, and he wants to get involved one way or the other. Pounce failed, but not because of him. Even though it didn't help that he said that, yeah, I kind of like Twitter better. But so. We're speaking of which, I wonder when Pounce is going to come back. But we'll talk about that in a future time. In the meantime, yeah. No, see, here's the thing. You missed it. I almost had the perfect. Nobody would have noticed that you guys are gone there because I continued with Pat's question, and they didn't even realize that you guys had fallen off the call. So, but now they do because I just told them. I just continued on and answered it and talked about Kevin Rose. It was beautiful.
Nice.
Very
And
nice.
I like the way you drove his habit for tea into the conversation as well. That really rounded out the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very nice.
With this new real-time Digg and taking all these things from Facebook and Twitter, I think it really does have a lot of potential. If they tap in the same way that Google's tapping in, gets the whole feed of everything that's coming across on Twitter, I think that they could really smartly determine what really is the most important news stories. I think it's really a great idea. I hope them well in pulling it off.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like...
Well, wait a minute. Before you move on, Victor, I'm sorry. I'll let you finish. But Urgo.
I'm going to let you finish.
Do you really think they're going to do it?
I think they probably will. When it'll actually go live, I guess, is anyone's guess. But I think they're going to do it.
December 21st, 2012. That is my predicted live date. I consulted with the Mayans, the Incas, and they said Kevin's shooting for Armageddon. Launch it, and then the whole world goes down. The last tweet will be, "Oops." Anyway, what were you going to say,
sorry,
Victor?
What were you saying, buddy?
Well, I was going to say, like, real-time Digg, it's an interesting ploy because, I mean, are they really going to integrate, like, what's trending on Twitter and, what's doing well on Reddit and, are they really going to want to go that far? Like, how are they going to introduce those links? Are they just going to highlight submissions that have already been made that are, like, basically...
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. I think they're going to pull it based off of, like, topic. They'll see what's hot and they'll match it. Well, again, in an ideal world, this is what I would do at least. Match what is hot to existing stories that are in the upcoming section on Digg, and then put the best one.
Mean, basically, if they would have to revamp how the upcoming engine itself works. Instead of being chronological like the rec engine, they would have to make it so that, like, hot stories or stories that are getting featured because of trending topics or whatever system Digg's going to use to become more real time. It's going to be it's just going to be interesting. I mean, so let's say there's a link that's going viral on Twitter right now, and a user to Digg subbed it, and he only has one Digg because he's a relatively unknown user. How are they going to remedy that? Are they going to feature that someplace special and let people vote on it, or the mechanics of how Digg's going to become more real time just seem a bit sketchy at best, and they're going to have to kind of totally revamp, like, how the upcoming and recommendation engines actually work to really achieve that, if that's what they want to do.
If they care, you're right. I absolutely agree.
And I'm sure they will. I mean, I'm sure that's the goal. At least I hope. They have to, for that to work, they're going to have the best people in place, as well as the best hardware and technology, which is a good time to discuss.
I think basically that if you can do all your digging via, like, some Seesmic app that has everything, like Digg, Twitter, and everything, they would be in good hands. Like, once you can sign in to Digg with your Twitter account, I think that's when it kind of spills up.
We'll see what happens. I mean, right now, There's a lot of technology going on in Vegas with CSS. What is CES? CES. What does CES stand for?
Consumer Electronics Show.
Consumer Electronics Show. And it's the event of the year in theory for tech people. I'm so shocked that Jason's not there. It's the Super Bowl of tech, and our good buddy Dave.
I hope to get there someday.
You will. You're going to be a presenter there. They're going to be interviewing you soon. We'll make sure that happens as a representative of the Social Blade Show. Jason Urgo is our CES guy. But in the meantime, we have to rely on our other CES guy, who is Dave Altavilla from HotHardware.com. Hot Hardware are wonderful and amazing sponsors. They are there right now broadcasting. I'm literally to the minute receiving information from them saying about all this amazing stuff that they've got going on. And this is their Super Bowl as well. They are reporting the news and putting up the reviews and talking about all of the latest and greatest that they're finding at CES in Vegas right now. And so now would be a good time over the next, between now and the 10th, to see Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So between now and Sunday, check out hothardware.com and see what you're going to be buying here in probably the next 3 to 12 months. Maybe next Christmas. Maybe next Christmas you'll be buying some of these technologies that you'll read about on hothardware.com. Aaron,
if you're not committing Web 2.0 suicide, because I mean, if you did, how much fun would your computer really be? We do not
then all you got is
recommend or
porn.
encourage. Sorry?
Nothing.
Say it.
I said if you commit Web 2.0 suicide, all you have left is porn. But this is
fair enough. Wait, but yeah, makes sense.
World of Warcraft, porn, and then social media. So, but let's say that you wanted to be that person, Aaron. How would you? Oh, in solitaire. Yeah. That's yeah. But if you did want to, just focus your entire efforts on solitaire, or as my unnamed relative calls it, solitary. How would you do that, Aaron?
Well, you would use a website called Web 2.0 Suicide, but as I was saying, we don't recommend or encourage this because we don't want you to leave us here on the Web 2.0 planet. We would miss you. But if you are tired of sharing personal information and being public and you want to kill it, you can. Modar runs a site called Web 2.0 Suicide. Modar is being a new media lab that executes the underlying scripts which erased your accounts from sites such as Twitter, MySpace, and LinkedIn. Facebook used to be on that list, but they have reportedly blocked the IP address. So your information will remain in Facebook land. Although prior to its blocking, 321 Facebookers were able to end their relationship with SB with a few last words, a deletion of every friend by friend, and it was then that they became a part of a new group called the Social Network Suiciders. When you use Web 2.0 Suicide, it will completely and irreversibly delete all of your friends and messages. It will change your username, password, and photos so that you cannot log back in. So once you start the process, you cannot stop it. This would require some really hard thinking before you want to end your relationship with social media. How the process works is that the Web 2.0 Suicide machine runs a Python script, which launches a browser session that automates the process of disconnecting from the mentioned social networks. It even allows you to watch your virtual suicide via a Flash app, which shows it as a remote desktop session. I'd say that's a little morbid, but to each their own. Remember that even taking over someone else's account, even with permission from the user, may go against the terms of services of the social site. Now, if you are insistent on killing off your online persona, which we wish you won't, and you want to end all ties with your friends and followers, again, we wish you won't, the Web 2.0 Suicide Machine looks to be the easiest and least painful way to virtually off yourself. If you are, or unfortunately going to, may you virtually rest in peace. What's our reaction to social media suicide? What do you guys think of this?
You know, it sounds ridiculous, but it's really not that ridiculous. Because I mean, you know, if you like really just got off on the wrong foot with all your social media stuff, and you like totally pissed everyone off, and you know, just had a way of completely disconnecting yourself from that. I mean, you know, it could work. It could work. I mean, maybe I don't know. I'm not gonna name any names, but I think there are obviously some people who exist in the world that, you know, maybe need to take advantage of this really cool technology to erase themselves from the webs. You know, just a little tip there.
Were you talking about Urgo?
Yeah.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Actually, if they actually allowed Facebook back on, actually, it used to be extremely hard to delete your Facebook account. Now they've made it easy, but this could have been really useful back in the day for all the people that wanted to delete their accounts, because you really couldn't before.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you really can't now again with Facebook in particular. But the thing is that I think it's good for those that maybe are using some social sites that, you know, they're fairly new and they don't really realize how public they are and how much information they are giving away to the social sites, and perhaps they're private and they want to keep it that way, you know, just like their real life. That would be a good thing to use. However, I don't know. I think, you know, some people might do it and then they'll regret it. What do you think, JD?
I think they'll definitely regret it. Don't do it. If you have an account and you don't want to use it anymore, just hit me up. I'll take it over, build it up. I'll give you a good name. We'll give you an IP in South America, and we'll make sure that you're useful to the world. I'm not kidding. No, wait, I am kidding. Or you could just sell it. You know, if you have 1.4 million followers on Twitter, I'm sure you can find somebody.
You're right. That's definitely. Maybe they need to create a service like social media suicide, but then you really just sell your stuff to corporations or something.
Well, one of the corporations.
But remember, that's still.
Who knows? But if they paid you a decent sum of money, it's like, hey, why not?
How much did they pay?
But remember, even though you're selling other accounts to other people, that could go against terms of services.
Well,
he doesn't sell them. He doesn't sell them. He trades for pie.
Right.
Actual apple
right.
pie.
Apple pie is the way to go. We have. Go ahead.
I was to say, well, speaking of buying accounts, you know, you could you can maybe. I think there's someone's account who got bought by a larger company recently.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Want to tell us a little more about it, JD?
Well, you know, the MSNBC. They just recently bought. This was the first move, I can say, in 2010 that I looked at it and I thought, you know what, that's actually pretty genius. MSNBC bought @BreakingNews, a Twitter account, as well as BreakingNews.com, which, let's face it, breaking news as a term is something that people are looking for. It's the start of, if not the end all be all, but it is kind of the start of what social media is starting to integrate into, which is the personification, or at least the technologicalification. Say that one, Pat. Technologicalification. It is the technological fullification of technological fullification. There we go. Say that fast. Of what social
aggregator, and it'll make you feel better.
The aggregator, technical fullification.
You're not helping me, Aaron.
@BreakingNews.com. @BreakingNews, the Twitter account, and BreakingNews.com were both sold to MSNBC, which, as we know, is a news aggregator of their own, but they're trying to be, I guess, more Web 2.0-ish with the way they do things. To me, it's brilliant. It had 1.4 million followers, so even though it wasn't Ashton Kutcher, it's probably, technically speaking, better than Ashton Kutcher, because you got to figure that the people that are following breaking news, what are they looking for?
Breaking news.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm actually one of those people that have been following it for quite a long time. When I think they used to be called, it's like BNO or something like that.
Yeah,
I think
BNO
it was.
News.
Yeah, BNO News. And Breaking News On. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's really probably one of my favorite Twitter accounts to follow, just because they really do always have the best news. And it's non-mainstream news, which is the other really great thing about it. I was just really worried that now that MSNBC has taken it over, that they're going to kill all of the localized, or rather, all of the lesser-known content from all the independent media streams and put it all to just mainstream media. Yeah, those are my biggest fears with.
If they do it right, then they won't touch a thing. They'll just send more traffic to them.
Well, and that's the other thing. They might now, I don't know, send all of the links might just go to MSNBC. Maybe that'll be the only difference.
I think that'll be the worst part of it, to be honest, because one of the great benefits of the breaking news Twitter account was, they were indiscriminate in terms of aligning themselves with any one source. They would report the headlines, and they would basically report it to the first legitimate news outlet that had an online article. So it could be LA Times, it could have been USA Today, it could have been some local newspaper in Bangladesh. It didn't really matter, So I think that they're going to lose that benefit of it. Is now they're going to have to be loyal to a specific brand, which is going to be MSNBC, above all.
Breaking news, live, now. All right, that's it. That's all I had to say about that.
Nice.
They have this 1.4 million follower Twitter account now. I wonder if they're using Seesmic.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what breaking news used. Maybe it's TweetDeck. I'm not sure. But in terms of Twitter clients, Seesmic has acquired Ping FM earlier this week, and I think the logic in that is Seesmic's founder, Loic Lemure. I think he's got a vision that whose scope goes beyond Twitter. In terms of the way he conceptualized Seesmic, it wasn't just update your Twitter and Facebook with Seesmic. It's update any sort of social news or social media related outlet with Seesmic, which will include now over 50 additional platforms such as Yammer and Backtype and IMs as well as a bunch of others. So if you're interested in keeping people posted or keeping people updated on what you're doing on 50 plus services, then Seesmic may be the application for you.
It sounds almost like an ad, Vic. I'm surprised.
Well, no, I'm not.
If you were interested in 50 more,
because they got Ping FM. The truth is,
I'm just teasing, man.
No, but the truth is, I say Seesmic's a pretty solid Twitter app. Like, in the world where most people use TweetDeck or Twirl, Seesmic has kind of really made a name for itself. I mean, they've got a bunch of users. But at the same time, they were never thought of as just being a Twitter app. I mean, they're looking for people to use it to update all sorts of different platforms and services. Because there's a lot of people on Twitter, there's a lot of people on Facebook and MySpace, but ultimately there's a whole host of other social networking sites and platforms that other people are using as well. They may not be nearly as predominant, and they may not have nearly as many users as let's say, Twitter or Facebook, but there's enough users to warrant integrating something like Ping FM with Seesmic, which is why Seesmic went out and acquired them.
Right, absolutely.
I love Seesmic.
Does anybody? I mean, I use TweetDeck myself. I know Urgo uses TweetDeck and Twirl. Patrick?
I do.
Yeah.
I use TweetDeck.
Aaron, Seesmic?
No.
Victor?
Twitter.com.
Yeah.
I use Seesmic when I'm tweeting from a desktop app. I'm using Seesmic, but most of the time it's just via the iPhone with Tweety. Tweety, it's actually really sick. I like it. It's pretty awesome. I prefer that to most other applications.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of application I'm going to have on the Nexus 1, but hopefully it'll be a good one.
Oh, looking to get one of those, eh? Those are pretty hot phones, not gonna lie.
Name dropping. Nexus 1.
JD's already got one.
Ordered it yesterday.
Nice.
The G1 was a
You have to let me
experience.
know. I want to actually see you using it later. Cause I was thinking of getting one, but I'm not so sure.
I think they're totally worth it. If I wasn't using the iPhone, I would totally be using the Nexus 1 because it looks like a badass phone.
I just want to get it because I got a G1 right now, and I don't have to say anything else.
And no, Androids, I mean, the market seems to be definitely kind of creating itself. It's like manifesting in all sorts of ways now. So many good phones if you want to run the Android as a mobile OS. Like, a bunch of good phones right now.
Yeah, there's just no good ones on on all the different networks yet, which is the problem. For people that don't want to switch networks, you're locked in, or you really don't have much of a selection. So hopefully that'll change. I really think Android is going to take off, but we'll see.
Beautiful.
Now, on a totally different subject, but semi-related, we are honored to have someone who was a pioneer in the online video industry. Mitch MADDOX, aka the .comGuy, is joined with us today. Mitch basically, back in 2000, was one of the very first people, if not the first, to basically stream in video himself live on the internet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the entire year. So, Mitch, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So, basically, can you tell us maybe a little about how you came up with the idea, why you did it, and what it was exactly?
Sure. I mean, basically what happened was I was actually really frustrated and made just an offhanded comment to my parents that, tired of wasting time dealing with lines. You can buy everything online. And their response was, what do you mean buy things online? So I was just really frustrated when they said that. And I said, look, I can move into an empty house. I could buy everything online. And I could put videos, and I could show everybody that you can do this so that people would, stop doubting it. And that was 1999. So when I made that comment, their response was, wow, if we saw that, that would get us to shop online. Well, if I could get a demographic like them to be interested in shopping online, then this is potentially a great way to kind of push people over that cliff and to make that first online purchase so companies would want to advertise there. So from having the idea to having our first advertiser commit $100,000 was 2 weeks. We sold $1 million in advertising before the site even went live on January 1 of 2000.
Wow.
That advertising pre-rolled. So in some ways, we were more profitable than most .coms at the time.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, how exactly did you pull this off here? This was back in 2000, and nowadays you got things like Ustream that what we're broadcasting on ourselves here, but you didn't have anything like this back then. So how did you exactly do it, like technically?
So, I mean, whenever you have a great idea, I think for anything to succeed, there are three things. One, you've got to have a great idea. Two, you've got to have great people. And three, you've got to have a lot of luck. One of the things that we were lucky about, although there were reasons why it maybe wouldn't have been it would have been better to do it someplace other than Dallas, Texas. The one thing we had going for us was the fact that Broadcast.com was based here in Dallas, Texas. Yahoo had acquired them in 1999, and Mark Cuban made his billions. And but anyway, we were actually able to do the stream from Yahoo broadcast here in Dallas. I think it even connected to them directly to their servers, and it was a totally different world. Everything was either Windows Media or Real Player back in the day. We spent about $100,000 per month on streaming, and that wasn't even paying market rate. That was an advertised, subsidized rate where we advertised Yahoo as our bandwidth provider and only had to pay $100,000 a month. So it was a different world back then.
Wow. Yeah, now we just, for our broadcast here, they put ads in the bottom of our screen, but that's about it. It's completely different. It's amazing. Now, are you glad that you did this? Like, are you happy from this experience?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was, once in a lifetime chance. There's so many times in life where we all have ideas that we, think about, hey, I wonder what would happen if I did this. And down the road, you just look back and go, gosh, I really should have it. And I can tell anyone, if you're out there and you've got an idea and you're thinking, well, I'm not sure if I can do it, you know what, if you don't do it, somebody else will. And you'd be surprised at what you can do. And just, it's amazing just how great it feels when you actually accomplish something that you set your mind to.
Mitch, what was one of the biggest drawbacks of? I mean, obviously the financial gain was tremendous, and you picked up a lot of, I guess you'd say, fame and notoriety by doing it as well. What were some of the biggest drawbacks for you and taking on something like this?
Well, the ironic thing was part of it was we didn't want this actually. The intent was not for the site to be about me. The intent was for the site to be about e-commerce. So that was part of what I thought would accomplish was changed my name legally to DotComGuy, and that way it would be about me. It'd be about the website DotComGuy.com. The opposite happened because people were fascinated by the fact that someone changed their name, and so it had the opposite effect, and everyone was obsessed with me and why I do that and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, the fame actually was the downside. That wasn't my goal at all. I kind of wanted that to get people to the site, and then once they got to the site, we're going to have website reviews and people reviewing websites. I would review websites. I had an online daily journal back in the days before people we even knew to call it a blog, and you know, we had just incredible traffic. But yeah, to answer your question, the fame, that's probably the downside.
Okay. Well,
now you mentioned traffic there. Do you know about how many people were watching at any given time and what your peak was, by any chance?
You know, it was so much harder to measure back then, and you know, I can only remember a few things. Like I remember hearing something like, and you know, hits are totally different from page views and all that kind of stuff, but I remember hearing something like 20 million hits the first 48 hours or something like that.
Is there anything you would consider like your biggest mistake from this whole experience here?
Yeah, the biggest mistake I made was thinking that I had to be .comGuy. I mean, I had the idea, but I think I would have been much better off, and I think the whole project would have been much better off if I had run the business and had someone else be .comGuy. They're much more interesting people, and honestly, I had more fun getting the sponsors together, working behind the scenes. I would have really been able to keep my vision intact as opposed to having to be on all the time and have to have other people take care of the vision, because I think we missed a lot of opportunities there.
well, I mean, do you look at it as like hindsight 2020, or do you look at it as like, if we do again, maybe not someone do it. If we take on something like this again, this is what we'll do this time.
Well, I mean, I don't think I'd ever be interested in doing something similar to that, or anything. But it does tell me when I do have an idea or there's a business venture I want to get involved with. I don't doubt myself and my ability to run the business. And also, you have to kind of realize that you don't have to do everything yourself. I was worried that if I got somebody else to be .comGuy, they might flake out and leave after a month or so. And you know, when you think about it, honestly, there's nothing better than that. You know, that just creates more interest because, wow, this guy flipped out and left.
Yeah, wears diapers, goes cross country.
Oh, forget this. I'm out of here.
It did wonders for this program.
I have actually two questions for you.
Did that joke work? I missed it.
I'll take the second one first.
Okay. My second question is going to be, were you paranoid at any point? Because I know that if I have something, you know, I know it's a camera, but there's people behind that camera watching you. Did you feel paranoid at any time, or how did you feel about when you left, when it was done, when it was over? Did you always feel like someone was watching you?
Oh, a lot of great questions there. So one of the things that I was talking to Urgo about this recently is that our original plan was the camera would go off at night. During the month of December, before I started, you know, Y2K, January 1, 2000. I did something like 400 media interviews during that month, including a lot of interviews in Australia and Japan, and phone interviews or satellite interviews via satellite. So what happened was our second largest viewing audience was Australia, and our third largest viewing audience was Japan. So when I was going to sleep, they were just now able to watch, and we ended up having to keep it on while I slept. So that was kind of something we hadn't really anticipated. But as far as that part creeped me out, I just thought maybe they were a little weird to want to watch me sleep. But you know, anyway, no big deal there. You know, when you're sleeping, it's almost safer than when you're awake, because you don't have to worry about picking your nose or something. But then as far as being worried or anything, I think that our bigger concern was actually something happening in real life. So we were very secretive in where the dot compound, as we called it, was. We would have about 100 guests over at the house every week. So we'd have bands perform, like Pat Green, Incubus, Kansas stopped by, and so we would have them sign a waiver where they would, basically sign their life away if they revealed the location or did anything while they're on the show.
So, okay, my second but first question now is going to be, what do you think of all the changes that have occurred in the last decade, from being one of the pioneers of live casting to now?
It's amazing to see how much it's changed, especially seeing how easy it was. Just the other day on kind of a lark, I decided, well, it's been 10 years, I'll just sign up for a Ustream account and just broadcast for the day. I mean, I was working all day, but anyway, just kind of turn on the camera. And it was amazing how easy it was. I was also able to take my iPhone with me and webcast my commute to work. It's phenomenal. It also is interesting looking back at some of the ideas we had 10 years ago that some of them were just missed opportunities. Like I had a daily journal that was read by millions of people. At one point in March of that year, I made the suggestion to the development team, hey, why don't we turn this around and make it so that our viewers can actually have their own journal entries and people can read their journals. And the feedback I got from everyone on the team was, no, that's a dumb idea. No one wants to read what other people have to say. They just want to read what you write. And, here we basically, that was, Blogger had only started in, I believe about 6 months earlier in fall of '99. So we're like at the beginning of blogging, and we could have been involved there. But then other things, from a technology standpoint, we wanted to have a way for viewers to post videos in kind of a YouTube type fashion. But there was just no way from a technology standpoint, no way from a cost standpoint. So it's really interesting to look back.
So what do you think is in the future for sites like Justin TV, Ustream, Blog TV, YouTube, and just in general online video?
Well, I have a feeling there's always going to be the live casting, if you will, and changes that'll occur there. I can't even imagine, but I do think we're going to. You're already starting to see the production values increase in small independent shows. Shows like yours and new technology that becomes available to make making a show like this even easier, or more professional, and the growth of high definition video and everything. I think we're going to be really surprised at how things change. And then you also look at the way in which the hardware is coming around with the integration of hardware as far as the TVs. You're seeing at CES this week. A lot of the high-definition televisions are integrated with the web, so you can just plug them into your Ethernet connection or into your Wi-Fi and be able to have Yahoo widgets on your HD TV and get high-definition content directly there. So the buzzword was convergence, but now it's not a buzzword; it's just kind of reality.
Now, this is one of the questions that was asked to me. Well, actually, I wanted to know, how much privacy did you actually have? I mean, like, when did you masturbate? And obviously, different times they didn't fly into the shower and other stuff. How much privacy did you actually have?
Gosh, I don't even know. There weren't any cameras in the bathroom or anything, but there was, it was a year of, we had 20 cameras throughout the house. I was in the house or the backyard for the entire year. There were times when friends would come over when we'd have we have our parties on Saturday nights and have a band come over. And a lot of times what we do is we would, at the end of the party, then replay it for the West Coast because, kind of like what they do on TV. And so then you maybe have the cameras off, but you still got 40 people in your house. So it's kind of a relative term for privacy.
Oh, that shows good restraint. I know I go a day and a half without doing it. I'm pretty much punching holes in walls. But I mean, the other thing is, I mean, what you did was innovative, and that goes without saying. How long did this last for you? I mean, obviously, the .com guy popularity died as the years went on. But even still today, when I talk to people about it, when I told them this was going to be our guest, he said, oh, I actually remember this guy. I actually remember this happening. And this is 10 years later. I mean, did you expect to be around when you were doing this, when you were spending that year in there, did you expect to be even remembered 10 years later for doing this?
Yeah, I think I always thought it'd be remembered because of all the publicity we had. There actually, when I finished the year, I just kind of went away from it all. But I had offers from, I forget the names of the different agencies in LA wanting to hire me or represent me to do stuff, and that's just not who I am or what I want to do.
Well, you could be a stunt double for either Jared or Chris Berman. A little bit of both. If you wanted to do that.
So yeah, it's just not my thing. I love going and I love talking about technology. I love dreaming about what's possible, and then when the opportunities are there, just making something happen. But as far as being a personality or something, really isn't my gig. I'll tell you who I envy the most. Would have to be Michael Arrington at TechCrunch. I think what he does there is just would probably be my dream.
I got one last question. I'll let you go, and I thank you for your time on the questions that I've asked. Have you ever considered, like, writing another book, a book about it at this point in time?
Yeah, I think about it all the time, and about writing a book. And then it just comes down to that one thing: is the hardest thing about a book is making the time to write it. Now I've got 3 beautiful daughters that are 4, 2, and 1, and we have our 4th baby due in May. So I'm not sure when that time is going to come up, but we'll see. I was planning on doing it, and hopefully I'll get it started here in another week. I'm actually, during this year, it's 10 years. On my site, MITCH.com, I'm going to have a link to a site where I'll have all the old daily journals that I used to have, and kind of have the old journal entry and then an updated view of where things are today and where I view things. So not quite a book, but something to keep me thinking about it, keep it fresh in my mind. So maybe one day I will make the time to actually write a book.
All right. This is JD. I wanted to give you a suggestion. If you did want to write a book, and you wanted to write something that could really do very, very well, and not just true to life, but also to go mad crazy, get tons of publicity, tons of people buying it. You could write a book about how you did something bad, such as maybe you had committed a murder during this time period that you were doing this, because you had the ultimate alibi. You were always being seen, and you were able to commit murders during this time while you were doing the .com. For the 10-year anniversary, you're going to commemorate by acknowledging that you killed 45 people. And
how about something more that has a statute of limitations?
Oh, right.
That's pretty tough too. But I could admit to things that maybe have a statute of limitations.
Yes, something that's
and would I be one of the 45?
A 9-year statute of limitations. There you go. You find that. He said, yes, I did it, and here's how I did it.
DWI. I was, Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So deconstruct how everything worked, and you rushed real quick and said, hi, I'm still here. I'm on camera. I didn't just go, kill a camel. I'm here right now. So, haha, can't catch me. Mitch, thank you for your patience. I know this was a technically diverse show today. I had my face of shame. And thank you to Urgo. Do you have one last question? Do you have anybody that that you want you would like to say, please stop sending me emails, stop coming to my house, any stalkers? Or
no, I think that I did pick up a few psycho stalkers during the year, and some that maybe have drifted off, and others that won't go away, and they know who they are, so I don't need to acknowledge them.
You got two of them at least watching right now.
Oh boy, I'll bet I could guess, but no, it's been great. Just the support. It's fun. We actually on December 30th of every year, because I figure everyone will be too busy on New Year's Eve. December 30th of every year we do a reunion chat, which Urgo actually coordinates and puts together every year, and it's I'm almost feel like the outsider when I go, because when we started DotComGuy, we didn't even think about having a chat room. We just started, and I'm just interacting with thousands of emails that I'm getting, and fortunately some viewers had the foresight to at that moment to put together an IRC chat room, and got the chat room going. So anyway, when we do this reunion, I almost feel like the outsider, because although maybe the people met each other because of me and what I did, it's really them that have the relationships. I just kind of go in and kind of get in the way at times and say, hey, how's it going? But it's great seeing those relationships evolve. We have some people in the chat room from that year that got married. It's just amazing to see how that happened.
They're doing .comGuy trivia, and you're sitting there, you're like, I don't remember that. And like, oh yeah, no, it was April 27th. Dude, how could you not forget that? You took mustard instead of mayo. Gosh. Of course we have it marked down. I replay it at least once a week. Have you ever thought about doing like a reunion show where you just play the entire year again?
I don't have any of the video, and because at the time, there was
what about a reenactment?
Electronically, was cost prohibitive, so we didn't have video of everything, and anyway, so I don't have any of it.
Could you do a reenactment of the year?
Yeah. I need to grow a little bit more hair, lose a little bit of weight, and
don't we all? All right. Anything else?
What was it like when you? Last question. One last question. What was it like when you finally said, "All right, no more show. I'm free to leave"?
Well, it was just what we planned on doing was my original idea was a quarter, which if I'd done it for a quarter in 3 months, would have been ideal because the .com bubble crashed in March of 2000, so I would have been coming out right at the end of that, and would have been great. But from the beginning, we decided a year was more even, and that's what we should do. So from the beginning, it was going to be a year. So at the end of the year, we had a big New Year's party and everything that I went to. Everyone else was there. I left at midnight and went to the party. But after the party and everything, it was amazing. I just finally felt, I don't know, just life slowed down because, like I said, I was having 100 to 200 people at the house every week. I was always having business meetings at my house, of course, and interacting with the media all the time and my publicist and everything. So it was very calming to stop. I was also amazed at, everyone was in such a hurry. In the past, I was used to people coming to me for meetings, so I was never late to a meeting. When I was driving, I'm like, gosh, why is everyone driving so fast? What's the big hurry? And anyway, that only lasted for a couple weeks, and then I was back to my lead foot as well.
Did you ever have, were people upset? Were they like, when it ended, was there like, man, go one more year, or, just another month? Or were they sitting there waiting for words of wisdom? And you remember did you see Forrest Gump? Remember when Forrest Gump, he ran across the country 3 times and he had his followers and then
I'm done.
I'm going to go home. And were there people that were just stunned? No, .comGuy, what else are we going to do now? Was there any negativity after it ended?
And because there were some business issues behind the scenes, when the year ended, I just literally pulled the plug and just kind of walked away. So if there was, I really don't know or wasn't exposed to it, but that's a good question.
Well, I actually
sure.
happen to know the answer to that because I was one of those guys, and I know where you live now.
And now you're distraught that I didn't care, and so now you're going to commit social networking suicide.
Way to segue into tie-in. That was awesome. What do you do on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock? I heard we have a technically deficient host that could use replacement. Somebody who has experience with video. Who doesn't? See, here's the thing. I mean, just to show the parallels and the perpendiculars and the paradoxes here, we've got a guy here on the show who stayed online for a year 10 years ago. I can't stay online for an hour without messing everything up. So,
AOL is a good service, but you might want to look at a different provider.
I have mail. I have no video, but I have mail. You're absolutely right. I need to darn you, IBM computer. Mitch, thank you so much. Anyone else? I know I keep dragging it on because you've been one of the most interesting guests we've had this year. And
no, but you know what? I really, honestly, Mitch, I honestly, I would love to sit down and talk with you sometime, like hours. I mean, there's so many questions to ask and talk about, and I mean, the answers that you give are very good and detailed and explain it, and being where we are, I'm going to drone on about it all. I'm going to be like one of your cheerleaders, so I'm going to stop now. But it's been a very cool guest. Well,
I've had a little bit of practice over 2,000 media interviews, so I kind of learned to speak in sound bites.
And Patrick's choking up right now, so Victor has fallen asleep. Patrick's choking up. Jason doesn't know what he's going to do, and Aaron's committing social media suicide. I'm gonna thank you.
I need tissue.
What a show!
Yeah, well, thank you very, very much for joining us, Mitch.
Yes.
Well, thanks for having me. This has been a pleasure.
Yes, and thank you to our audience. Thank you to our sponsor, hothardware.com. Next week, we're taking ideas for what to do with the Social Blade show in 2010. I'm sure that the number one recommendation will be to dump that Rucker JD guy. But otherwise, it was a good show. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube we are always Social Blade Show, correct? All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
SocialBlade on YouTube. It's youtube.com/SocialBlade.
All right, we're always
same on
SocialBlade.
Twitter and Facebook, I believe, as well.
See, me and Aaron
Yeah.
were wrong. So, yes, it is always Social Blade. Thank you, Urgo, for correcting us as always. And remember,
Also, don't forget to follow our guest. Also,
yes.
Twitter.com/Mitch MADDOX.
We'll have him in the show notes, and we will see you all next week, 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern on Thursday. We are Social Blade.
Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0 coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are Social Blade.